Alright, so somebody asked me a question about is the spiritual dead in the martial arts and will it ever come back?
Not in your bed, guys.
Get out of here.
Guys.
Get out of here.
Get out of your bed. You're messing the bed.
Shh. Is the spiritual dead in the martial arts and will it ever come back? Well, I'm trying to work hard towards getting it to come back. It's not an easy task. There's a lot to go up against. But I see that the spiritual in the martial arts will remain underground and it'll forever be underground. It's never gonna be like out there in the mass media that's like something like very popular and vastly wide known, well known. So you're saying traditional martial arts is dead, which it is, and it transitioned to commercial martial arts and then to the MMA. Commercial martial arts would be something like karate or taekwondo, where they're just profiting off of making, people buy belts and stuff like that, and turning into the whole martial arts thing into like a daycare program. And now it's the MMA, which is like combat sport. So you got traditional martial arts, commercial martial arts that he's saying, and then we got the MMA. And he's saying, is the true martial arts, will it ever come back? I don't see it happening. It's like saying, now that there's guns, are we ever gonna have like samurais again? Get out of here! Get out! All of you! And close the door. Close the door.
Wait.
So, it's like saying, now that we got firearms, is there ever going to be a time when we're going to go back to having samurai? No, there's not. Now we got internet. Is there ever going to be a time where we're gonna go back to like just everybody being dependent and reliant on things like the library? No. Now we got internet and we got internet pornography. Will there ever be a time when we go back to like going to buy magazines at the 7-Eleven or whatever store to get, pornographic magazines? No. Now that we got MP3, digital music, will there be a time when we go back to records? Playing records? No. Even CDs? No. You don't see people using CDs anymore. It's done. So traditional martial arts, that's not even the real martial arts. Traditional martial arts is not the real martial arts, but it's done. The real martial arts is able to adapt with time, and it's able to be relevant for today. And the sword essentially is supposed to turn into the gun. That's supposed to be part of the martial artist's arsenal. But that weapon is put in great restriction by the law. The law puts restrictions on pretty much a bunch of weapons, on pretty much all the weapons, and disarms the martial artist in a way. The samurai are not allowed, if they're not willing to turn into police officers, then they they end up losing their swords, and they have no weapons, and then they have to train to their proficiency in unarmed combat. Now, when you become a police officer, they're not real martial artists either. They don't live by the way, the Tao or Zen. They basically just follow the law, supposedly. And the law is not the way. The law is just, it's just the law. Man-made law. So, the martial artists are hidden, they're underground, and they're not gonna ever be widely, known worldwide by many people, because that's just the way it is. It's like, for example, like an art, like learning how to paint. How many people that you know are really great painters? Or it could be like music. How many people that you know are really great musicians? Like, they know how to play a musical instrument, and they're really good at it. They've been doing it for over 20 years. I mean, you don't meet that many people that spend the time to develop themselves in something like that. Because most people are just concentrated on just making money. You'll find a lot of fighters, a bunch of fighters, but you're not going to find a lot of martial artists. Because martial artists don't train for the money. They don't train for the recognition. It's just their life. They train because it's part of their life. And they just love it. So, there are martial artists out there, but they're hidden. And it's never going to be as famous or successful as like McDonald's or a Walmart or a Target, or those big corporate Mongols, those corporate businesses that have millions and billions of dollars. It's never going to be that way. It's never going to be like the way even these commercial gyms are, like LA Fitness and Export. It's never going to be that way. It's always going to be underground. And more of like a family-oriented development, opposed to corporate development that has millions of dollars and all this other stuff. That's the reality of it. Because there's just too much to compete against out there, and the general public, they're basically bombarded by so much that it's hard to even compete with that. I mean, saying, for example, like, you got companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and McDonald's and Burger King, and these corporations that have millions of dollars to advertise to the public, to basically get people to get hooked on their products, whereas the real martial artists have like a few $100s to advertise, if that. You can't compare that. They own the whole. They own the industry. These corporations own the industry, and they're gonna have a huge chunk of the population under their control. So it might be like 95% of the population is controlled by these corporations, and then that only leaves like a very small percentage for the martial artists to basically influence and market to. And that's just the reality of it. That's what I think. That's what I see. There's never gonna be a repeat of Bruce Lee. Just like there's never gonna be a repeat of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There's never gonna be a repeat of Muhammad Ali. That time that they were significant was only for that time. It's not gonna be a repeat of something like that ever again. There's just gonna be, there just has to be a different way, a different method of influencing the public, and basically reaching out to the public and teaching about the real martial arts. It's gonna have to go through a different medium. Bruce Lee already went the way of the Hollywood. Now there's gotta be a different way. Maybe just a little bit more, less direct. So the Hollywood's more like teaching 100,000 people at once. Well, now a different way is gonna have to be maybe one by one, or 10 people at a time through YouTube, one by one through people directly. But it's not gonna be the way that during Bruce's time was 100,000 people or more learning all at once. It's not gonna happen again. That's what I see, and that's just the reality of it. But the good thing is that the real martial arts is not gonna ever be completely dead. It's always gonna be here, and it's just gonna be hidden, but it's always here. That's the good thing.